you love your body, your brain, and you value the idea of being able to play with your grandkids in the future, then being a professional boxer is probably one of the worst career choices you could ever make. And before anybody gets offended, I am not saying that boxing is bad. I'm saying turning boxing into a career is something people often romanticize without understanding what's the cost. Because boxing is one of those sports where the fantasy is loud, but the reality is very, very quiet. For context, I run a boxing gym, I coach fighters, and I've worked at multiple different boxing gyms before. I've been around tons of amateurs, pros, national champs, world champions, people that swear they're gonna make it, and a lot more people that say they're gonna make it and then quietly disappear. So this is not coming from someone who hates boxing. It's coming from someone who loves it enough to tell you guys the truth. Most people who say they want to go pro are just imagining the top 1% of fighters. That's who they want to be like. They want the belts.
The blue one is my best, my first belt.
And these are so heavy that they have to be taken down off the wall.
Yeah.
The money, the success, the respect, and the recognition. They're picturing the Canelos, the Mayweathers, the names everybody already knows. But here's the part nobody talks about. Do you know the fighters on the undercards? Do you know the fighters opening show? Do you know any of the guys fighting 4-rounders in half-empty arenas? Because statistically, that's far more likely to be your career as a professional boxer. Boxing is not special. It follows literally the same rule as every other profession on earth. The top 1% make all the money, the bottom 90% work way harder for much less. What makes you think boxing would be any different? There have literally been discussions at athletic commission levels about minimum purses being a few $100s for 4-round fights. Imagine that, training all that time, putting it all on the line in the ring for a few $100s. A few $100s to get punched in the head and basically put your life on the line. People die from weight cuts, from bad weight cuts, and then getting hit in the head after. And you're only making a few $100s. Even today, most early career fighters are lucky to make $1,000 per fight. And that's before expenses. You know, like the coach percentage, the gym fees, travel, medicals, hotels, licensing, nutrition. And that's not even including that you have to take time off work to even go to the fight. Because I don't know if you know, but most professional boxers also have a regular job too. After all of those expenses, sometimes you just walk away with only a few $100s, and sometimes you don't even break even. And again, that is assuming you win. Let's say you lost that fight, now you're walking away with just a few $100s or nothing, plus a broken nose, a black eye, shame. In these examples, that is not getting paid to fight. That is subsidizing your own damage. At this point, somebody is watching this video thinking, that's not me. I'm different. I'm gonna make it. I work harder than all those other boxers. Every single gym has at least one of those people. Delusional. The one thing about that is, literally everyone who turns pro thinks they're different. Okay, you literally have to have that sort of self-belief to be able to turn pro. That's kind of a prerequisite. Delusional. There are fighters with world-class skill who will never get opportunity. Some fighters are avoided because they're too dangerous. And fighters who are just as skilled as champions, and sometimes more so. And they still never get the money and never get the recognition. Being good or even great at boxing is not rare, but being marketable is. And now let's talk about the part of the sport that most people do not want to face. This isn't a misunderstanding and it's not an accident, okay? The point of boxing is literally to knock somebody else out, to cause them brain damage, okay? And to not get knocked out yourself and not get brain damage yourself. That is the whole point of boxing. To give somebody else brain damage without getting it yourself. Repeated head impact is not a side effect of boxing. It's literally built into the rules. That's why even amateur boxing carries real risk. Not just for pros. People love to say, oh, amateurs are safe, they wear headgear. They're not safe, they just don't get paid, okay? Do you know how many ex-professional boxers have suffered from super traumatic brain injuries? Is that what you want for the rest of your life? You know how many ex-professional boxers start slurring their speech? They can't play with their grandkids or remember their spouse's name or be functional in any way. Is that the type of life you want for yourself? Because if it is, then yeah, become a professional boxer. When you're young, and you don't have to worry about brain damage, it might seem cute. You might think, oh, I'm not gonna get it. But when you're old and you actually have to deal with it on a day-to-day basis, it is not pretty. All those heroes, all those legends you look up to, they all have brain damage. Like Muhammad Ali is a very famous example. Was all that fame and money and belts worth it? Is it really worth destroying the later part of your life just to experience some glory and some fun in your younger days? Is that worth it? To be honest, sometimes I feel the way people talk about alcohol and avoiding drinking alcohol because of how negative it is, I feel like we should really bring that discussion over to boxing, okay? Because if alcohol is bad for your body, then what? Boxing is good for it? If alcohol is looked at as so bad because it kills your brain cells, why are we championing boxing for? Boxing literally kills more brain cells than alcohol does. Getting hit in the head at full force repeatedly, that has more potential for you to get brain damage from it than drinking alcohol does. Like, the whole sport is to destroy another person. You know how drinking alcohol can be a lot of fun? It can help you boost your mood, party, act like you're not really yourself. Boxing is also a lot of fun too, okay? Yes, it helps you feel glory, helps you feel confidence in yourself. I understand there's a mental health aspect to boxing, just the same way that you can argue there's a mental health aspect to drinking alcohol, okay? But both of these things are also poison for you. Alcohol is poison in the way it kills your brain cells. Boxing is also poison. It's literally meant for you to try to destroy somebody else and not get destroyed yourself. Why are we looking up to sports where the literal whole purpose of the sport is to destroy somebody else's body? We don't praise substances where the whole point of that substance is to destroy your body. So why do we praise sports when the whole point of that sport is to destroy your body? I know you can argue it's a physical activity and physical activities are good for you, but they're not really good for you when you're getting destroyed by it and you're trying to kill somebody else by it. There's a lot more and different physical activities that don't give you brain damage that are actually healthy for you in the long run. It is not just brain damage, okay? Boxing impacts a lot more than just the head. Okay, for example, a lot of boxers' knees are gone because of the footwork, the bouncing, the pivots, the constant rotation, and also if you're a boxer, you're a runner too. Repetitive stress on the knees really adds up, especially when you're doing it for hours a day, which every pro has to do it for hours a day. Boxers' hands also have chronic issues. Your hands were not meant to strike hard objects repeatedly at full force. A lot of boxers have constant shoulder pain from throwing thousands of punches at high velocity repeatedly and mostly on one side, since boxing is a unilateral sport and uses both sides of your body differently. Boxers' necks are under constant strain, whether they feel it or not, okay, from absorbing constant punches in the head. Your neck gets that whiplash. And this isn't bad luck, okay? This is literally the cost and the point of the sport. And then there's the whole weight cutting discussion, okay? Listen, even at the amateur level, I literally cut weight so hard that I would lose my period for 3 to 6 months at a time. That is not discipline, okay? That is a red flag. And that's what I mean. Boxing is not meant to make you healthy. Boxing is about performance. It is not about health. If it was about health, you would be able to fight at a healthy weight that you can actually sustain year round, okay? Losing so much weight that you lose your period, that's not healthy. I don't really think I need to convince anybody that that's not healthy, but I'll put it this way. Your period is your body's natural way of regulating itself. So when that natural way of regulating itself gets taken away, yeah, it means you're doing something unhealthy to your body. Boxers have to get their bodies down to unhealthy weights that are so unnatural and unsustainable to maintain, unless if you're basically starving yourself. And not only do they have to get their bodies down to these weights, which if you've ever tried dieting, you already know that's hard enough, but they have to do one of the hardest sports in the world at those low weights. Imagine that. At the highest level, and even the amateur level, boxing is not about health, it is performance. And often, performance makes you sacrifice your health. Now, this video is not meant to be all doom and gloom. So I'm going to go through all the top reasons why someone would want to become a professional boxer, like, for example, what they would hope to get out of it. And I'm going to say what a better path would be to achieving those goals. Number one is money. A lot of people want to become pros to make money. But quite frankly, as I went through earlier, there's a lot better ways to make money. If that is your number one goal, don't be a professional boxer. If you want to make money, go into the trades. Do physical labor that most other people cannot do. Be a plumber. Work in the oil rigs. Do dangerous physical jobs that other people can't do. There's a lot better ways to make a lot better money than what boxing could ever offer you. If your goal is really to make money, you have to be smart. Becoming a professional boxer, not the smartest career choice. Smart thing to do, research. Greatness is another reason why a lot of people want to become professional boxers. They envision a future where they are great. Now, I don't mean to knock you on this one, but being a pro boxer might be one of the hardest ways to achieve greatness. If you want to achieve great and legendary status, then do a career path that will allow you to help other people. Because people look at people as great when they stood for something, when they helped somebody else, when they stood for a cause, right? People don't look at Muhammad Ali as great because of his boxing. That is the least reason why they look at him as great. They look at him as great because he stood up for himself. And yeah, there happen to be reporters behind him, but you don't need reporters behind you to be great. You don't need everybody to know your name to be great. You just need to literally be great in your own community. The greatest people I know have the least media press ever, okay? Because they are people that are selfless, humble, and will help other people. Manny Pacquiao, also great because he served his community. Literally everybody in the Philippines loves Manny Pacquiao because of how much he gave back to his community after he achieved his success. I'm telling you, all those boxers that you think are great, that you see in the media and the media paints them as great, they are not great because of what they achieved. They are great because of how they acted after they achieved those things or while they were achieving those things. In order to be great, you have to stand for something. And becoming a professional boxer, that's not exactly standing for something. For example, trust me, in 50 years, nobody's going to remember Conor McGregor or whoever the number one UFC champion is right now. I promise you, nobody's going to remember just the people that won. It's always the people that won and did something else. So that's why I'm saying you don't need boxing to achieve that status. Literally, pick what you're passionate about, work hard at it, and also work hard at helping other people. Muhammad Ali did not know that he was going to become Muhammad Ali. Literally, all he did was he loved boxing and he figured out how to monetize it. And then he had a personality, he had character, and that is what made him great. Not boxing. A lot of people also love boxing for the confidence it gives them. But you don't need to become a professional boxer to gain confidence, okay? Literally, just boxing as an amateur should give you enough confidence. And confidence is about being able to advocate for yourself. Boxing might help with that a little, but you have to be able to do it for yourself. Boxing is not the only outlet to become confident. And last but not least, proving people wrong. A lot of people become boxers out of resentment because they want to prove everybody in their life wrong, that they can achieve, that they can become more than what those people in their life think they can become. And while I think that is absolutely great, I don't think professional boxing is the way to go about that. If you want to prove people wrong in your life, you already have the wrong motivation because boxing should be about you, not about other people. There's a lot of emptiness in pursuing something because you want to prove people wrong. Because once you actually start winning, then what? Those people, they'll see it, they'll think, okay, cool, I was wrong, and then they're not going to care anymore. You have to do it for yourself because you want it, not because you want to prove anybody wrong or anything. And even if you do become a professional boxer to prove people wrong and you actually do and you win, what's that going to do? A scoreboard will not heal your past life. A scoreboard will not heal your trauma. You have to actually work on that shit. You cannot heal wounds you got from other people from productivity. The only way you can heal that is from doing the inner work. The only reason that survives somebody wanting to become a professional boxer is love. Love for the sport. That's it. If you would box, even if nobody ever clapped, even if nobody ever saw, if you're okay with the idea of putting everything into boxing and getting literally nothing back, if you're okay with being incredibly skilled and still unknown, if you're okay either way, whether you actually get something out of it or not, then maybe, just maybe, boxing is for you. But if you are pursuing boxing because you think it's going to give you money, respect, or validation, you are sadly mistaken. Boxing gives you something else. It gives you honesty. It gives you confidence. It gives you a mirror. And for most people, that should be enough. Thank you for watching my video all the way through. And if it helped you in any way, then punch that subscribe button in the face.